So what do you do when a ministry has a different position from the CBI? Question is, and I want to put this again, this is not speculation nor is it informed information with us, not what our sources tell us. We have the full CBI report and we are reporting this tonight with full details of the CBI report. We have the physical copy of the report that was presented before the members of parliament yesterday. We have top-notch lawyers on both sides tonight. We have Ranjeet Kumar, senior advocate of the Supreme Court representing the Reliance Group, Vikas Singh, former additional Solicitor General, petitioners in the case Subramanian Swamy, and also petitioner in the 2G case and former Chief Election Commissioner N. Gopalswami. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. Now, with this information, basically, Mr. Ranjeet Kumar, start with you first. With this information, with these papers, with the CBI's findings, your client, then the Anil Ambani Group, is in serious trouble, isn't it?
No, Arnab, it's like this, that whatever you have said about what is stated in that report to the JPC, that already forms a part of the charge sheet which has been filed against the three executives of Reliance. If you look at pages 49 to 54 of the first charge sheet that has been filed in the case before the OP Saini special judge, all the facts that which you have stated about the holding in Swan Telecom and the Reliance Telecom or the Reliance
no, you're underplaying it.
Is all a part
no,
of the charge. A part of the charge
no,
sheet.
that's interesting that you're saying, but you're typically underplaying it.
That's not something new. It's not something new.
One second, sir. One second. See, your basic objective is to ensure that as far as possible, the hit is limited to some executives of Reliance and doesn't go all the way up. I'm just being very direct about it.
That's not the question. The CBI itself has filed a charge sheet. The CBI, other than the charge sheet, could not have gone beyond the charge sheet before the JPC has said something which is contrary to the charge sheet.
It couldn't have. Of course it couldn't have. I understand that. My question to you is very specific now. Let's not get into that point.
Tell me.
My question to you is very specific.
Tell me what is the specific question?
I am not asking you about the charge sheet, sir. I am asking you about the 46-page PowerPoint presentation made by the CBI director before the JPC yesterday, in which there was an attempt at intimidation. That's another point. Question is this. Page 25, paragraph 1, I'm sure if seen, says in February 2007, officials of Reliance Telecom structured Swan Telecom Private Limited in a manner that its association with Reliance Telecom may not be detected. Question is, what is the culpability of
Those very lines, that's why I took out the charge sheet and compared what you had sent me, the note in the paragraph 25.
My question is on misrepresentation of fact.
The charge sheet.
My question is on misrepresentation of fact.
That will be... No, that you are asking me to disclose my defense as to what I will answer in
I'm asking you to just give me some sense what defense you have, given this very specific point. 9.9% equity by RTL, 90.1 by Tiger Traders.
Yeah, Tiger Traders is the allegation is that 90.1% is with Tiger Traders, 9.9 was with Reliance. And that is below the 10%, which is the cutoff mark for supposed to be making an application
Swamy.
For a second license.
I'll get a second perspective from Subramanian Swamy. You heard Ranjeet Kumar there. Mr. Swamy, are the corporate links becoming more detailed right now, and what you make of the presentation to the JPC?
Well, I think I'm very happy that the CBI is seized of the matter, because this was my first letter that I wrote to the Prime Minister, on the basis of which I asked for sanction to prosecute Raja. And that was November 29th, 2008. And it is that letter which the Supreme Court took cognizance of. And the fact of the matter is that there is a cabinet decision that a company which already has a license cannot get another license on the basis of another company, which is the charge essentially that is being made against both Loop and the Reliance. In the case of Reliance, it's very well established that they had over 10%, which was the cutoff point. And therefore, they fudged the records to bring it down to less than 10%.
Exactly. So
let me tell you that the New York Stock Exchange has refused to list for the last 11 years the Reliance companies on the New York Stock Exchange because they don't meet these disclosure standards on how these shares are owned by whom.
Yes, so now
it's a problem with the Reliance that they manipulate these share dilutions, ownerships, and so on at will.
So this
in this particular case, they got caught.
Exactly. So they got caught. This question is of corporate honesty. And besides which, I just want to point out one part here, Vikas Singh, before I come to you. One part in this report I am particularly worried about. And this report says that there is a person, please see it here, this is exactly, I'd like to tell you, this is what the CBI presented. Please read this line. However, certain public servants, including the then Secretary and Minister of Communications, did not allow for issue of such notices, allowing the company to operate licenses in violation of UASL guidelines. This is in connection with Loop Telecom. So the question is that the then minister and the secretary of in that ministry was working for the Ruias, for the Essar Group. Mr. Vikas Singh, this is extremely serious. The CBI has found that not just the minister, there was a secretary who was blocking notices being served to this particular group when the ministry officials knew that there was a big hanky-panky, it was a one big botch-up operation. Inside the ministry, people were working for a corporate group.
Arnab, I'll tell you one thing, this is actually really speaking prejudging the issue.
How?
Because if you ask me, in our country, traditionally, our legal system has always been of the view that if you are able to manage your affairs in compliance with the existing laws, whatever be the existing laws, you can't be faulted. Now, if the laws permitted you to have this kind of an arrangement when you had these shares in some company and later on you could have, like for instance, unless you are able to prove that for doing this, the minister or the secretary or whoever has taken some gratification for that purpose has permitted them to do. Otherwise, if it was permitted in law and if they have planned their affairs in such a manner which is compliant to law, there is no offense.
But how is it not compliant with law? It's not. Is it compliant with law, Mr. Gopalswami? Mr. Gopalswami, is it compliant with law?
I think compliance with law, when I say compliance with law, means the law as existing on that date with
Mr.
licenses.
Mr. Gopalswami is responding. Yes, is it compliant with law?
A lot of effort was made to conceal the facts, and one has to go behind it to find out who the real culprits are. I mean, you can't just, you see, you trying to get under the law by trying to manipulate the entire thing, and then you say that, I have complied with the law, or that's not acceptable at all. The CBI needs to go behind it to find out what exactly is the maneuvering which is done, and on that basis the courts must be moved for taking action.
Precisely. How is it compliant with law, Mr. Vikas Singh? Because the CBI's presentation...
I have not been able to...
The CBI's presentation...
I have not been probably able to... Yeah, sorry.
My point is simply, I find fault with your argument that it's compliant with law, sir, because the CBI's presentation today and the ED report earlier conclude that this particular Essar Group, through a series of transactions, namely Santa Securities, BPL Communications, Loop Mobile, Loop Telecom, etc., acquired an indirect stake in Loop Mobile and Loop Telecom, and the charge is that this was intentionally done to escape the regulatory purview of the Department of Telecom. And when now some officials found out that there was an attempt to do this, at that time the minister and the secretary came out in defense of Essar. So I don't know how you are saying it was compliant with law. It was a direct transgression of the law.
That's the point. What I am trying to tell you is this, that the fact that there was an intention to violate the law is something which has to be proved by evidence. It is not something which the CBI can prejudge. CBI can only make an allegation. At this stage, we are at a stage of only making of an allegation.
Sir, the question of deliberately...
Now, if the law permitted, if the law permitted a company to have 9% holding and then later on transfer that holding,
again there's a fault. Again there's a fault. The CAG report states Loop did not have the requisite paid up share capital on the date of application. Question therefore is whether Loop Telecom deliberately misrepresented facts to obtain the license. No, one second. Subramanian Swamy. Subramanian Swamy, I want your rebut to the charge that it's all compliant with law and hence we are prejudging the facts.
Well, you see, I have at the moment only studied the Reliance thing. I know that Loop, the same charges apply. But the fact is that in the case of Reliance, there is a section of the law which makes it a very serious offense. IPC section 467 actually calls for life imprisonment for forgery of documents of this kind.
Mr. Kumar.
Now, there is no doubt in my...
Arnab, there is no
my
question
mind
of forgery yet. What is being stated is today what is all allegation. Please don't prejudge the issue that
of course it's allegation. If in a democracy we cannot have a debate except it is as a court procedure, we'll have Soviet Union here.
Properly. Now there are many companies in this country which have shareholdings on different interconnected companies, and that is legal. Like if a person holds, say, 10 companies and 10 companies hold shares in other 10 companies.
I have a specific question for you.
That's not the issue here.
That is still legal.
Yes, Mr. Swamy.
Yeah, the issue is whether they had more than 10% ownership or not. The records are fudged to show that they had 9.9%.
The Reliance itself only had 9.9%.
That was the claim.
Below the 10%.
No, 1 second.
10.1%.
1 second. Mr. Gopalswami, is that true? Is Reliance in effect?
If the attempt has been...
Yes.
Look, if the attempt has been made to maneuver and bring it down to the levels under which they will not be questioned, then I think that sequence of events will be established. If it is established, then the guilt has to be accepted and guilt has to be proved. There is no doubt about it. There is a lot of difference between what it was originally and what it was maneuvered to be. If there is maneuvering in order to bring it down, in order to comply with nominally comply with the law, then one has to infer the idea behind it was to escape the provisions of the law. In which case you have to take action.
The inference can't be in this discussion. The inference has to be proved in a court of law.
No, but I'm asking you a question. Sir, Mr. Kumar, please allow me, sir.
Yes, tell me.
Allow me, sir. Specific question nowadays.
Tell me.
Only 9.9% you're saying is held by Reliance Telecom, rest 90.1% by Tiger Traders. My question to you is, please answer me specifically. Didn't Hari Nair misrepresent facts when he claimed on February 1st, 2007 that the majority stakeholder in Swan is Tiger Traders Private Limited and that neither Reliance ADA Group nor Anil Ambani nor his family held any shares in Tiger Traders? In other words, that Tiger Traders, not Reliance ADA Group, is the real owner of Swan. Now, that does not fall in line with what the CBI has found.
No, the CBI is saying that the companies which Tiger Traders is holding, their Tiger Traders is also held by some 2 other companies. No, those 2 other companies are held by some other persons. Now, who is holding what?
No, you are trying to complicate the issue.
There is no name of ADAG there.
Sir, I'll hold it up for you because I'll hold it up for you because I don't know if you've seen the CBI report. I can send you a copy. Maybe the CBI will eventually give it to you.
You can send me a copy. I'll go through it.
No, it says clearly here, out of funds, sir, it is written here, I'm not speculating, out of funds arranged from Reliance Telecom, its associates, the net worth of the company was created. The whole thing, the whole story is given out here, sir. And also that Reliance tried to avoid detection.
Also the charge sheet.
No, it's all out in the open now, sir. I have the whole CBI report. The CBI cannot present a charge sheet which is factual.
So I am saying that CBI report is exactly what the charge sheet is saying.
So now are you saying the CBI is, see what the CBI finds is... No, should we dump what the CBI has found? Should we dump what the CBI has found?
No, I am not saying dump, but
that also to the JPC.
To rebut everything.
What is the culpability of Mr. Anil Ambani in this?
Everything. The charges have to be framed.
What is the culpability of Mr. Anil Ambani in this?
No, there is no culpability of Mr. Anil Ambani. If there was some, they would have made him an accused. They have not made him an accused. How can you name somebody to be made an accused when he is not, CBI is not saying he is
I'm asking you. So he didn't know. Anil Ambani didn't know.
Whether he knew or not is not even whispered.
No, question is specific. You're prefacing it with the whether. My question, did he or did he not know? From your information.
Well, you see, as a lawyer, I only read black and white what is given in the papers. I do not know. I have not had any meeting with Mr. Anil Ambani to say anything to you on this channel. I represented Gautam Doshi and that's about it.
Okay. Mr. Gopalswami, where is this going now? Mr. Gopalswami, where is this going? You're the petitioner here in this case.
Yeah, look, it's a fact that one needs to bring it to the court and get the matter proved. And I think from what you say, if the CBI report contains enough information, then that's enough to prove the point. I mean, there's no need to speculate as to who's involved, who's not involved.
No, see,
it's all in the open, and it'll come out when the case is finalized. I mean, when the case is heard and finalized, all these facts will have to be placed, and if the CBI has all these information and is backing it up with full dossier, then that's enough.
Mr. Swamy, won't the money transfer actually reveal the full story? We know about the money transfer from Tiger Traders to Reliance, so that Swan can meet the balanced criteria. Mr. Swamy,
all those issues will become relevant to prove the point as to who all were involved in this whole game.
What about Mr. Swamy, who was in the ministry besides Mr. Raja, who is the telecom secretary who was working on behalf of the Essar Group? That's also very significant to know, to expose.
Obviously. I mean, you can't just find fault with one hand when it takes two hands to make the noise.
So, Mr. Subramanian,
if there is somebody involved on the other side, he needs also to be brought to book.
So Mr. Subramanian Swamy, this is 2G scam part 2 and part 3 unraveling now. Part 2 is Maran. Part 3 is these new details which are there in the CBI charge sheet. Is there a part 4?
Well, yes, there is a part 4. There are Congress ministers involved. Their names have to come out. And there is proceedings going on in the Supreme Court just now. And it will be heard in detail on the 24th of August.
Okay.
So it's going to be part 4, part 5, part 6, I think probably part 9.
Okay. Interesting thing is Dayanidhi Maran, of course, even through part 3, despite being the principal protagonist of part 3, is refusing to resign. That's also very interesting here today. We are in a strange situation.
Yes, no. May I intervene here to say
but you
that
are not
what CBI is just now established
about the Tatas being given
what
a
the CBI just now. May I just say that the CBI has established an offence has been committed. Now the CBI's job is to find out how far it went up. Did it go all the way to Anil Ambani or not?
That's true.
Now, as far as this Tata is concerned, just because the CBI says they are clean, doesn't mean they are clean.
Okay.
A subsequent document can come and establish that they should be brought in. That's what happened when I took up the matter of the national security angle and this Maxis question. Both these questions came because of my intervention in the Supreme Court.
Yes. I
have not had the time to study Mr. Tata's matter yet.
Okay, you've not had the time to look at that matter yet. Mr. Vikas Singh, quick last word from you.
Yes, I'll tell you, Arnab, one very important thing. As far as this maneuvering is concerned, I mean, if you are permitted to hold 9.9% in one company and in the other company, that per se will not make it an offence. I mean, the fact that the law permits somebody to have a certain percentage of shares in there is a concept of a juristic person. A company is a juristic person. Yeah. So if a company, whether it be Tiger or whether it be Reliance Communication, if they are separate juristic persons, and as long as the corporate veil is not lifted, you can't say that just because you have a 9.9% holding in this company and accordingly you get made an accused. That can't be. That is not the law in this country today.
If you have done so,
if you had a 10 point, you are entitled to manage your affairs in such a manner that you are compliant to law. If
certainly.
You managed it by keeping it at
certainly,
9.9%,
as long as the CBI cannot prove.
That can't be a basis. As long as the CBI can't prove that you have actually been involved in some kind of an illegal gratification.
No, not gratification. Not gratification alone. Not gratification. As long as the CBI cannot prove. No, not gratification. You are again on gratification. I don't know. As long as the CBI,
I know what the gratification is.
As long as the CBI cannot prove that this was done intentionally to escape the regulatory purview existing in the country under the DOT,
that's what I'm trying to.
Not gratification.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Even if you were to escape the regulatory purview by doing this splitting of shares in
then you are wrong. Then you are in the wrong.
9%. No, that's not. No, that's
I
not
agree.
criminally.
Then you are in the wrong, Mr. Gopalswamy. Even then you are not wrong.
Sorry,
I agree. I entirely agree with you.
That will not be a criminal liability.
That's not acceptable at all.
That will not be a criminal liability.
That's not acceptable at all.
You can always tax planning.
No, tax planning, but you can't route money. You can't route money through foreign countries and islands in a manner to escape the regulatory purview of your country. The day you allow that, this country will descend into absolute chaos. Mr. Gopalswamy?
No, I'm saying regulatory
absolutely.
purview to the extent
Right on dot.
I
can't agree more with you on this.
Okay, gentlemen, this has been a very...
Regulatory purview itself regulatory regime must make it an offence. This can't be an offence under the regular criminal law, just because at best your license can be cancelled on that basis.
Okay,
I mean,
maybe,
let's not lose the larger picture. Our criminal justice system is not structured in such a manner that
there is one point, I think.
Mr. Gopalswamy,
on the basis of such conjectures.
Mr. Gopalswamy,
there is one point. I mean, this also is a lesson that if you artificially create such possibilities or loopholes, then this is what will happen. So I think the lesson that needs to be taken also is such artificial, chances, such loopholes should not be left in the law.
The system is not there to be taken for a ride.
In such a way that people don't try and go under the law in the manner in which...
I say one more thing, Arnab, one last line.
Yeah.
If the application made by Reliance or Swan, as you say, did not have the correct percentage of shares, or it was beyond the limit prescribed, the application should have been rejected.
Also blame the bureaucrat.
That non-rejection does not make it.
So you blame the bureaucrat, but then one bureaucrat, I want to know his name. His name should be exposed nationally. One bureaucrat was working for a major corporate. No, you cannot. The problem is you cannot take the system for a complete ride. That's the whole story. Let's see where the story goes.
No,
to the fore.
No, the law must take its course. I don't say anything about that.
I've heard that before. Somewhere I have heard that before.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me on the News Hour tonight, gentlemen.
Thank you.
It's been a fascinating and intricate chat, and I will see you again same time with all the detailed news and the big debate. Till then, good night and goodbye.